The Finance Administration and Economic Development Committee meeting to order. Today is Monday, November 17th, 2 p.m. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and Ms. Octavia, has this been recorded as according to our compliance with FOIA?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Ask for someone to approve our agenda, please.
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion on that? Seeing no discussion, we will pass this without objection. Is there any objection? Seeing no objection, it has been approved. We'll then ask for someone to make a motion to approve the minutes of September 8th, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stabernick. Is there a second, please?
Second.
All right, thank you, Joe. And is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion of those minutes of September 8th, 2025, we will pass those without objection. And I see no objection either on the line or in person. We'll then move on then to our public comment period. And we have 15 minutes. I think we have 3 people that have signed up. And first one I have on my list is Mr. Dale Dudat. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you for allowing me to address the committee. I watched first of all, I'm Dale Duffin. I'm President and CEO of United Way of the Low Country. I watched the video of the last Finance Committee meeting and noticed that several of the members recused themselves from the vote on the Community Services Grant Program. I applaud you for your transparency on saying, hey, I'm involved with a nonprofit, but I think that if you're going to recuse yourself from stuff that affects all nonprofits, it would be similar to recusing yourself from a vote that affects all Beaufort County residents when you have a relationship with one of them. So I'm hopeful that you will reconsider that so that the business can get done. There are more than 1,800 registered nonprofits in Beaufort County, many of which have the sole purpose of supporting our community members who need assistance. These are the organizations that the Community Services Grant Program actually supports. 39% of households in Beaufort County are what we call ALICE population. That stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. People who are working but can't afford to make ends meet without some form of assistance. You see, the real problem here is that we have employed households that are working their tails off, but they can't make ends meet without some form of help. A single mother with 2 young children in this county needs to make almost $72,000 a year to get by without assistance. A lady cleaning hotel rooms can't make that. A driver for our EMS, our ambulances can't make that. A paralegal in this community can't make that. These are people that are out there working real jobs that impact us every day. We need to support the efforts of economic development so that we can diversify our job base. But more importantly, until we can make this community livable for everybody, we need to support the workers that provide essential services to us. So the support that those nonprofits get from the Community Services Grant Program is a drop in the bucket to the county budget. But it's life and death for many of those nonprofit organizations. I encourage you to consider not only supporting the Community Services Grant Program, but to actually increase it to provide more help. Because what you're really helping is not the nonprofits, you're really helping our workforce, the folks that are out there working, but they aren't making the ends meet. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you listening.
Thank you, Mr. Dudat. Appreciate you being here. And let's go on to second one, and that's Mr. Larry Mashuda. Mashuda, thank you for coming. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Larry Machuda, and I'm here to make a comment regarding item F, the resolution approving the Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation use of $600,000, blah, blah, blah. Okay? The one thing I want to say about this particular thing is I think the timeline itself is the cart before the horse. You're already buying property, and you don't even have a really good plan or where you're getting the money. If you look at the first year plan, it's, well, let's do this and let's come up with a 501(c), and then we go out the next year and get money, and then the final year you're doing development of something, a 3-year plan. Who's going to manage this whole thing at the end? We buy the property. What if things fail completely? Doesn't get past the first year, or even the second year? Okay? The impact assessment, the whole project is pie in the sky. Why not test the market first? Find little venues. Go to a place. You can have a farmer's market somewhere. Find some place to have it. Find some other places to do it and see what's really, really viable for what's being proposed here. Everything here is just, this is what we plan. You can go out and try it first. Real businesses don't do this kind of business and fork out $600,000 for something, and that's only a drop in the bucket. The real number is 1.5 million or 1.6. So I'd say you should test the market, determine the viability of things before you go out and just say, here's what we're going to do. And I'd like to know all these studies that were done, where some of these numbers come, because if you think people are going to come from Savannah or Charleston for a one-day drive 100 miles, which is what was specified in there, and to see what's going on, I think you've got another thing coming. Not everybody's going to do that, even for an hour's spending. Maybe sometime, but not all the time. You're not going to do that. What if it can't sustain itself, constantly needs more funding and bail out from the county again? That happens even in Hilton Head with art centers there. They're always constantly asking for more money or needing more money. That's going to happen here if things don't go. So you really need to test this market and find out what the heck are you doing before you go about doing this. This thing should be viewed as a business, not as just, I mean, you're getting funding, so it's not a business. Who's accountable? Whose head's going to fall if something fails? What's going to happen to this whole thing? Where's the skin in the game? Everything has to come from grants, 501(c)s, or county. If it fails, what happens? We walk away. Does this county get stuck with it? What's the fallback plan? Shutter it and let things go like it is? Why not go to some of the things that are shuttered now and try to revitalize them? Try to help businesses, even like Willie's, that has a problem. If you don't like what he's doing, why aren't we in there trying to help him figure out what makes sense for this community? And verify, test, modify. Once it's proven, then you have a leg to stand on and can move forward. There's an opportunity for private funding, and it was rejected, and they could have gotten some of the money for these particular projects.
All right,
No
Mr.
skin in the
Lashita,
game.
your time is up, so thank you for coming.
One more comment.
Okay, real quick.
This is like betting on the come, and I don't want to see taxpayers' money used for this kind of bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prosciutto. Thank you for coming. We appreciate your comments. Next up, we have Felice Lamarca. Ms. Lamarca, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate it. I'm also commenting on item F, the Performing Arts Center on St. Helena. And you all may have the answer to this question, but was an appraisal done on this land? Is it worth $600,000 of our taxpayer money? And were there 2 appraisals done? Because you shouldn't only rely on one. Second is the community was surveyed, it says in the presentation, and that it was welcomed and favorable. I'm assuming that was just the St. Helena community. What about the rest of the community that's going to pay for this? The rest of us taxpayers from Beaufort to Hilton Head. Were we surveyed? Now, my husband mentioned the Arts Center. It used to be called the Self Family Arts Center, and those of you that have been on Hilton Head a long time, Mr. McKellen, you may remember how that all went down. In 1996, the Self Family donated the land. After that, mortgages ensued and private donations. The town of Hilton Head may have chipped in money. I don't recall. I don't believe the county did at all. Every year since then, they have come back to the town of Hilton Head for tax money to operate. They cannot operate on their own, even though they make $6,000 to $10,000 a week when they're in performance. It's a costly operation. And my feeling is that private venues, private money should be sustaining it, not taxpayer money. Not saying this isn't a wonderful thing for each community. I know Bluffton would like one. Can we afford them? Private enterprise, not taxpayer money. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lamarca. And when I said we had 3, I was wrong. I got 3 pieces of paper. We have 5 people here, so 2 more. Mr. Darrell Arash. Did I say that correctly, Mr. Arash?
You did not.
Could you please correct me?
It's Darrell Orridge.
Okay, Orange, thank you.
And good afternoon to the committee, and I appreciate the opportunity to come before you. My name is Darrell Orridge. As I just said, I grew up on St. Helena and currently reside there. When I first saw a plan presented to develop the center, and we're talking about item F, I'm talking about item F on the agenda. My initial thought was that the community would be able to bring toward resources itself. And my initial thoughts were, why would we have to buy property when there is property that's currently being held by nonprofit organizations? And my thought was that we would be able to tap into that. My point is that has not materialized. So at this point, I would in fact like to recommend to the committee to actually go forward with the resolution to buy the property on St. Helena with the intent of building this center. I think it would be utilized fully by the community. I would, as a farmer, utilize it when I have the opportunity. I would also utilize it as a community member for community-wide events. So there's opportunity for usage there within. So again, my statement is that I would like to see the resolution go forward. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Horst, thank you for coming. And last, we've got Mr. Willie Terrell. Mr. Terrell. Thank you for coming today.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Willie Terrell. I'm speaking to agenda item F. I'm here on behalf of the business community, youth engagement partners, and leaders who work daily within the Corners community. First, I want to acknowledge Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation and the work they have already invested in this effort. I want to personally thank Mr. John O'Toole for the thoughtful and productive conversation he and I shared on Friday. Through that conversation, it became clear that there is a cooperative path forward, one that aligns the Economic Development Corporation's goals with community-based progress already underway in the Corners. Today's request for $600,000 in site and job funds is significant, and I understand the intention behind seeking a land purchase. However, before committing additional taxpayer funds to acquire the new property, there is an opportunity to achieve the same, if not greater, outcomes by leveraging the buildings, parcel, and assets already located at the cultural and economic heart of St. Helena, the Corners community itself. We believe that there's a plan that supports the goals of this grant, complements the Economic Development Corporation's broader mission, and brings the spirit of the digital corridor and the Down Rhine Center directly into St. Helena in a practical, immediate, and high-impact way. But also, I want to be clear, the Corners communities are facing an urgent and very real safety need. We're dealing with unlit intersections, unsafe pedestrian crossings, missing walkable infrastructure, and conditions that endanger both residents and visitors. Furthermore, after all the community has endured in recent months, addressing safety cannot be an afterthought. No cultural center, marketplace, or economic initiative can succeed until Corners is safe, lit, and functional for the people who live there. We all recognize that the proposal before you today is still in its early development. For that reason, we are respectfully asking additional time to align this cultural center conversation with immediate safety priorities in the Corners, and time to return with a unified, actionable plan that addresses both. A brief delay does not harm the county, the Beaufort County Economic Development, or the grant. In fact, it strengthens all three and ensures that the next decision is financially responsible, community aligned, safety focused, and positioned for real implementation, not theoretical planning. There's no downside to waiting a short period to get this right. There's enormous downside to moving forward prematurely. For these reasons, I respectfully ask the committee to delay today's vote and allow ongoing collaboration between Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation and community stakeholders to continue in good faith. Thank you for your time, your consideration, and your commitment to the future of St. Helena Island.
Thank you, Mr. Terrell.
I didn't sign up, but can I speak?
Yes, sir, you'll be our last speaker. State your name and your address.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry about that.
I'm sorry?
My name's John Trask. My address is 200 Distant Island Drive on Ladies Island. There are about 4 or 5 owners of this piece of property in question for the center. And me and my family, my brothers are one of them. And we think it's a good project for several reasons. Not just because we hope we can sell it, because we could have sold it to a private person for not much more money, but a little bit more money. And we've been working diligently with Mr. O'Toole and his group to get to this point, wherever it is. But I grew up on St. Helena, and this is about 12 acres or something total. I don't think there's another piece of property of that magnitude in the sphere where it could be zoned to do this. And I think that we need a nucleus. We need a center of gravity to build around the culture that's been there for whatever, hundreds of years. I say that as a private citizen. I feel a little bit funny trying to advocate for it since I'm the seller, but I'm trying to not be cynical too. Anyway, I just urge the committee or whoever's in charge to believe in this project and to believe it's a long-term project. You know, it ain't gonna be done in 1 year or 5 years, but whatever gets built there hopefully will be there for decades. You know, just like Whitehall Park. Nobody wanted to pay $10 million for it. Amortize it over 100 years. You know, it's been a super boon for Beaufort, I think. So anyway, that's my spiel, and I appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Trask, thank you for coming. All right, we're going to close our public comment period and go on to number 7 on our agenda, our reports and our finance report from our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Pinky Harrett. Ms. Harrett, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. How are you? I thought everybody was here for the finance report.
No. Exciting.
Biggest crowd I've ever had. All right, so is that little thing on the?
No, I can't see it. Everything. It's coming for you.
Okay, thanks. All right, we'll start with the general fund revenues. Here we are right now. Overall, we've got about 6% collected. We're high in certain categories, but not quite ad valorem. Everybody knows tax bills just recently went out, so this will spike here over the course of the next month or two. And then general fund expenditures. We're about 30% expended on the general fund right now. We are slowly tracking forward. Quick overview of your enterprise funds. And these are all your revenues. We have our garage fund up and running again. Stormwater is at about 1%. Beaufort Executive is 9%, and Hilton Head Airport is at 32%. And your enterprise fund expenditures. Garage is about 17%. Stormwater 7%. Beaufort Executive 8%, and Hilton Head at 22%. Any questions on your year-to-dates? All right, our next item is your, maybe?
Sorry, I have to.
No, you're fine. Your budget transfer report. As you can see, there's lots of transfers happening. We're separating out printing costs from supplies and materials just to separate those out. A lot of departments are putting those transfers in. So this was all in your backup. Does anybody have any questions specific to the budget transfers?
Any questions? Anyone online? I see no one with questions, so go ahead.
All right. And your final is our ARPA status report. We just had to submit for our October reporting to the U.S. Treasury. Key highlights noted down there at the bottom. For this period, we reallocated, as we spoke at the last Finance Committee meeting, about some of the administrative costs that we reappropriated. And then some upcoming milestones for the Treasury for this period for reporting is that our broadband projects, which I believe was discussed at the budget retreat last week, we're verifying speeds, and then we will begin processing payments to Hargrave. Public Health Community Center construction is set to begin in November, which is now. Stony Creek sewer expansion payment was made in October, so we're making some progress trying to get these ARPA funds spent down. As you know, we have to spend them down by December 31st, 2026. Any questions?
Any additional questions for Ms. Harriet?
Just quickly, the broadband expenditure, do you expect that to happen by 2026?
Oh, for sure. Yes. We have 3 projects for broadband in ARPA, and we hope to have all of them done. They're on track now.
Good, okay.
All have to be completed,
All
right?
right.
They have to be completed by the end of '26.
Yes, all funds that are not expended by 12/31/26 will be returned.
Correct.
So we have to spend it. All right. Any questions?
Yes. Any questions?
Just a
Any
couple of
questions?
other updates. Audit status as of right now, we are 90% complete submitting our items to the external auditors. Auditors are currently performing testing on all the items that have been submitted. And then today, wanted to recognize our procurement director, Dave Thomas, is in the back. He was recently recognized at the SCAGPO, which is South Carolina Association of Governmental Procurement Officials, the James H. Barnes Award for Service to Local Government Procurement. So, congratulations to Dave.
Very nice. Maybe he could stand up. so
He
that
didn't want to
can-
come up here.
Oh, okay.
I just want to say one thing.
Come on.
I just wanted to thank the council members and past council members and county administrators and our current county administrator and our CFO for the support of that organization. That organization provides all the certification, which gains trust for you all when doing public procurement. So thank you very much. I'm very humbled and honored. It's over 900 members of that organization, and they awarded me this year, so I'm very humbled about it. Thank you very much for your support.
Congratulations.
Mr. Thomas, thank you. Congratulations.
Any other questions for me?
Any other questions? Seeing no questions.
Yes, let me
Thank
go
you,
back
Ms.
to
Harriet.
broadband, and Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And I don't understand broadband networking or nothing of that nature. Question I actually have is, when the Whale Branch early childhood kids, students, came before us, and they expressed a need for, I think, tower,
Right.
to have, being able to get connected. Is those funds available to help with that?
Well, I believe the administration has got in contact with those students. Not exactly sure what was requested.
I mean, we can't, for this project, and I'll let Hank weigh in on it, these are already committed. We can't change the
Gotcha.
purpose of these funds.
Not from
It would be,
ARPA.
it would be something else to help
No, I
the-
got
that
you.
community.
I mean, as long as I know the money is going to
Right.
be used and stuff.
Our funds were
that's-
used for broadband. What they're requesting is cell phone coverage, cell service, and
Right.
that's a different animal.
Right, that's cell
But it's-
towers that have to be done with the cell tower provider.
And so we would have to go out seeking other funding to.
Correct. The ARPA funds are already committed. I believe that deadline, correct me if I'm wrong, was the end of 20.
That's true.
12/31/2024.
Yeah, okay, good. Sorry about that, Mr. Chairman.
That's all right. Any other questions?
If I might add, correction, Mr. Glover, thanks for bringing it up, but for correction, it's not the Whale Branch Early College, the Whale Branch, it is the Whale Branch Early College High School, not the elementary school. So it is a high school, but I've had conversation with the county administrator, and I'm encouraging him to have dialogue with the school district administrator, Mr. Rodriguez, and see if we can uniformly and jointly approach this issue and see if we can have something materialize to actually solve that problem.
All right, great. Thank you for the update, Mr. Dawson. I think that's it, unless there's another question?
If I can just, I didn't say at the last meeting, but I would encourage any of the council members to follow up on the policies of our school district they put in place last year. This isn't the only school that doesn't have cell phone service in it. None of the high schools do across the county. They put in a policy, I think it was January of this year, that there's absolute no cell phone use and they're to be confiscated inside schools
schools.
unless you have a medical release form, and then I believe been giving the students access to a certain form of Wi-Fi inside the school. So I'm not sure if maybe it's not cell service we should be looking at, but maybe it is the broadband and actually Wi-Fi in the school if that's what's lacking. But I can tell you that would be contradicting to what the school board is pushing for and has in policy.
I'd like to say something. It is two different things, and I've been out to Well Branch for several events. You cannot use your personal cell phone even before this new policy. The middle schools have the same policy. Children in the middle schools are not allowed to have their cell phones on. So it's, Well Branch, I think, has a very specific problem at that location. I've been at Beaufort High School at events, and I could use my personal cell phone inside the building and anywhere near the building. But at Well Branch, I've been to events there, and no one's personal cell phones will work out there. Is that how you understand it, Mr. Dawson?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. And that's another topic for another day, so let's move on then and continue forward. We now are at our first agenda item. This is agenda item A, approval to purchase two type F-450 ambulances intended to replace assets 38-34-6 and 40-27-2 for Beaufort County Emergency Medical Services. Mr. John Robinson, if you're coming forward to handle
I
this.
will make that motion.
Okay, we get a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Is there any reason for us to?
Mike's on,
No.
sorry.
All right, so we're going to approve this without objection. Is there any objection to us approving this?
No, I have a question for Mr.
Okay, Mr. Robinson, you are being called.
So the two ambulances obviously have outlived their lives of service. One is from 2014, 146,000 miles. The other is 15. I guess I was just struck by the cost we paid for those versus the cost we're paying now.
Yes, ma'am. I would say in 2014, they've probably doubled, or if not more.
It's more,
in
yeah.
price.
And
than
are
they were
these
originally cost.
long-term to get? I mean, like the fire trucks take 3 years to get?
Yes, ma'am.
These are the same?
Mhm.
Wow.
12 to 18 months if we're lucky.
We're in the wrong business.
Yeah, tell me about it.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Robinson?
Just one question.
Yes.
What's the plan for the two that we currently are replacing?
So we have 5 spares right now that are older than these. So what we replace or repurpose these. So we'll take the best that we have, keep those as spares, and then we sell these off.
And where do the funds go after we sell the other ones to replenish this account?
They go back to general fund. Or
Yes, they do go back to the internal service fund because we recreated that internal service fund. So when we sell off any portion of our fleet, we're able to recoup the funds.
Perfect, just want to make sure.
It offsets the budget.
Yeah.
All right, good. So we'll approve this without objection. I think we already did. So no objection. This has been approved. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Let's move on then to agenda item B, approval to purchase a knuckle boom truck for solid waste and recycling, $206,736.10.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you for the motion. And is there a second?
I will second that.
All right, any reason for us to discuss this?
I have a question. I'm sorry. Who's talking about this one? Oh, yes. Sorry. We have one, so I finally learned what's a knuckle boom truck. Okay.
Glad you're not asking me.
This is Victoria
No,
Hoffman.
no.
Thank you for coming up.
Hello, Victoria Hoffman, the Solid
Yeah.
Waste and Recycling.
The pictures are in there, I get
Yes,
it.
there are pictures.
And nobody's going to ever let me drive it, so I get it.
I mean, we might, I don't know, if you get some training.
Oh, no. But why do we need a second one? One isn't enough, or is it because the county's so spread out? Why
So
do we
we're
need two?
discussing the knuckle boom, and
Knuckle boom.
we have another agenda item on there, and that is the Packer truck.
Correct.
So we do not currently own a knuckle boom. We do not currently have that. That's the addition to our fleet.
It says presently we have one knuckle boom truck. And this is a second, I'm reading the AIS, and this is the second knuckle boom truck.
Sorry, the AIS is incorrect then. We do not currently have a knuckle boom truck. This will be in addition to our fleet. The one that we are replacing is the second agenda item, and that is the Packer truck.
Okay, so that answers my question.
We
Thank
do
you.
have, Public Works may own one, but Solid Waste does not have one that we can use. So when we do use one, it's from another department.
Got it.
All right, any other questions for Ms. Hoffman? We will approve this without objection. Is there any objection?
I was just really expecting a elaborate presentation like usual, but
She's going to stay up for the next item, so.
I'm not always
This has been
excited.
approved without objection. Let's move on now then to C on our agenda. And we have, oh, no, we don't have you coming back up there, Ms. Hoffman, sorry.
Did you combine it all in B? There should be 2 items
no, that was
on-
B, then C is the new one. The Packer truck C.
Oh, it is Packer truck, I'm sorry.
So this is one
Yeah.
we're replacing, a
So
2016.
approval to purchase a Packer truck replacement for asset 473 for solid waste and recycling, $176,582. And we do have Ms. Hoffman again.
I
So,
will make that motion.
Thank you for the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tabernick. And discussion, Ms. Hoffman, you can go ahead and tell us real quick about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are pictures. I'm here for fleet.
Here, let me help you. It's estimated
So
service life extension.
Todd talked to me today, and he did tell me the difference. But when I'm on the spot, you guys kind of make me nervous.
So,
One has
so the Packer truck you can see right here, this is just the truck with the boom. The other one is the truck's boom and trailer kind of combined. We use these at our convenience centers to help grab our white goods and place it in. So we use them north and south of Broad. They stayed constantly busy, and that's the need that we're replacing the existing one and then added the other one. So we have kind of dual functions. This one can be with or without the trailer, the other one kind of trailer combined. And that's the difference in the price.
So this one's replacing one we have,
That's
and the
correct.
other one gives us more use.
Flexibility.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
I knew that.
Thank you.
We use
All
them
right.
for tires as well.
Any other questions for
Thanks, Jared.
Ms. Hoffman or Mr. Freilich? Seeing no questions, we will then disclose the discussion. We'll approve this without objection. Is there any objection to us approving this?
No.
Seeing no objection, that has been approved. All right, let's go on then to D on our agenda. Approval to contract and purchase hardware, software, and maintenance for Beaufort County Data Center upgrade. The fiscal impact total purchase is $793,000, $642.88 to be paid from 2 accounts. And I think we have Ms. Polite coming up.
I will make that motion.
Well, thank you. And
I'll
is there a
second it. I'll second it. We got a whole group coming up. Look at
Yeah,
this.
we got it. We got it.
All right, and if y'all can just please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Shakia Polite.
My name's Adam Phelps.
Thank you for coming. And Ms. Polite, if you can just give us a real quick overall of what we're doing here for this?
Okay, we're just wanting to upgrade our data center hardware, software, maintenance, and make it all new.
All
The
right.
equipment we have now is
Yeah, end of life.
end of life
Needed to
and a
be-
support. So we just want to order all new equipment, hardware and software.
Okay, any questions from the group?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
When was the first equipment purchase that we're using currently?
So over, I'd say the last 10 years, we've got some various times there. So 2014 is probably the oldest. There was a purchase in 2018 as well. So in IT terms, it's all relatively old.
So is that replacing both of those, the 2018 and the 2014?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's the expected lifetime for this program?
It varies, but for the most part, we can expect to get another 5 to 7 plus years, depending on what system you're talking about.
So about 125K a year.
Yes.
All right.
I have
Thank
a
you.
question.
Yeah.
So you're taking this from 2 different accounts, which have a total balance of $819,896, so you're literally depleting these down to $26,000, correct?
No.
That's what it says there.
One account,
Has $654,349.
Right, this is a project that was approved as a part of the fiscal year 26 CIP list, but they decided to combine the 2 projects together and do it all at one time. And so they had a little bit that they needed to pull out of their operating budget, which is the 1,010-1150 account code. Because they didn't have enough in the CIP look.
Okay, so that's from operating.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I only want to be their cheerleader for a second, because they've worked with several vendors and several systems over the past year to make the best system, and at a far greater price than we originally started and thought that we would have to expend. So these three have really been doing a great job, and I just wanted to give them some props for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hank. All right, any other questions?
Thank you so much.
All right, we will approve this without objection. Is there any objection? Seeing no objection, it has been approved.
Thank you all.
Ms. Polite, thank you for coming. Mr. Phelps and Mr. Cox, thank you for all you do. We appreciate that. All right, let's move on then to item E under our agenda. A resolution to approve recommendations to award fiscal year 26 community services grant program funds in the amount of $398,000 to community service organizations. And again,
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Passmont. And is there a second, please?
I'll second.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Glover.
Yes.
And open up for discussion. And
I just want to make some comments
He's gonna
before
make a
Audra comes up. With these grants, I think it's important for council to recognize that you may consider yourself to have a conflict with an individual grant recipient, but you don't have to express that conflict for the entire list of grant recipients. You can mention the one that you have conflict with, and that your discussion and your vote will not be accredited to that one you have a conflict with, but it is for all the other ones. And that way, you don't have to recuse yourself from the entire discussion. You just have a conflict for one particular nonprofit, or two, whatever it is. You make known that you have a conflict with them, and your discussion and your vote is not accredited or does not reflect that organization. Is there any questions? Yes, sir.
2 points. Number one, the conflict of interest would need to be defined.
Yes. You have to
Okay.
name that organization and fill out your conflict of interest form, but then you make clear on the record that your recusal is only related to that nonprofit
Correct.
if that is the approach you want to take.
And the conflict of interest would be because you're going to receive some benefit.
Or you're a
That's the
member
good
of that board, or your family member's a member of that board in some way.
Yeah, but are you truly receiving a benefit?
If you make decisions over how that money is spent, then yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman. Robert Rule says we shouldn't have even canceled we shouldn't have removed that item last time. Because just because you accuse yourself from your vote doesn't mean we remove quorum. So we still count as individuals present to quorum to conduct business, so we still could have taken that vote. I'll be completely honest, I'm the one that has to answer to something that I'm conflicted with or not. So, no offense to anyone in this room, but there's nobody in this room that's gonna tell me when to recuse myself or when not to. That's fully my decision. So if I wanna recuse myself from an entire thing, because I feel comfortable doing that, and that's what makes the most sense, and being transparent, that's the way I'm always gonna play it out. But even if we have recusals from members on here that bring us below the quorum amount, they're still present for the meeting, so we still should be able to take a vote to move that forward to council.
Well, not to argue that point, but in any time there's a conflict of interest, that's a personal decision that each individual has to make for themselves.
Correct.
Okay.
I agree.
So, yeah, so I will recuse myself since I'm on the board of Staying Connected in Sun City. But I also want to say the same thing I said at the last meeting. I do not agree with spending money, public tax money, to support nonprofits. If I want to give money to Staying Connected as an individual, that's my right to do, and it's tax deductible. I don't think we ever asked the residents, are you okay with us giving out $400,000 to nonprofits? I have nothing against the nonprofits. I donate to some of these. I just don't think that's our job to do. So I am recusing myself, but I'm going to vote no on it.
And you can recuse yourself from the one you believe you have a conflict with and still vote either yes or no for the rest of it.
No, yes.
Okay, that's all.
I got you.
Mr. Chair, may I-
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Moore.
Discussion. I agree with our Vice Chair, Ms. Tabernick. We should not be giving taxpayer money to nonprofits.
there are so many foundations here in in Beaufort County, so many foundations that give money to a lot of these organizations. And I'm voting no for this. I mean, we should not be giving taxpayer money out to nonprofits. They have their own way of raising money, and there's so many. We live in such a generous community, a county here, and it shouldn't come from taxpayer money. It should come from taxpayers that want to give them the money privately.
All right. Any other comments? And let me just say that my feeling is that I am for us giving nonprofits money, and if there's something we're going to change, we should let them know in advance. We just don't do it the year that it happens and we vote it down. That it should be something that we tell them in the future that if we are going to restrict, funds that go to a nonprofit, and not do it immediate or kind of cut them off at the knees. And again, it's our job as a county council and a county to help the citizens, and most of these nonprofits are out there and helping the citizens, that we directly see that. And again, being good stewards of our money is helping the citizens. So, I'm going to vote yes for this. Is there any other comments before we vote? Mr. Cunningham, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Go ahead. Mr. Cunningham, and then we'll get everyone online.
I just want to say I echo what Mr. Dawson said at the last meeting. There are a couple on here that give services so we do not have to provide it at the county, which actually costs us less taxpayer money. But with that said, I do think if we're going to look at this as a whole, like Ms. Tavernick is talking about, then we should be doing this in advance to communicate this with these organizations. And I will leave it at that.
All right, Ms. Howard, and then I'll come back to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I would request a roll call vote, please, and I am going to vote for this. Thank you.
All right, and Mr. Dawson?
Yes, if I might try to help us understand, as I stated in a previous meeting, that this council, this county is one of the richest county in South Carolina out of the 46 counties.
Mm-hmm.
Beaufort County is one of the richest of the 46. But I would have all of us to know that we have pockets of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And my district, District 1, and Councilman Glover's district as two of the poorest communities in the county of Beaufort. Mine is probably the poorest. But that's why in our operation, we provide funding to indigent care. Indigent care is part of us taking care of those individuals through medical assistance that can't actually afford some of the services for good health that they need. This program, we help to fund some of the nonprofits who provide other assistance to the indigent and poor people in this county. So I support this program. I'm going to vote on this, and I will recuse myself whenever it comes to one of the organizations that actually either I support or is run through something that I'm affiliated with. But other than that, it's a good program, and I would encourage all of us to fund it, support it.
Chair, if I may, I'd
Yes.
just like to make a comment that this $398,000 was budgeted this fiscal year.
We know.
Okay. Ms. Brown, did you have something else you want to say?
I'm not clear. So it's for this fiscal year 2026 coming up. You can't just somebody just said, cut them off the knees. So next year we can decide not to fund this?
If that's a
Is that
discussion
correct?
that.
Oh, okay, but for
During
now,
budget.
it needs to be for fiscal year 20. I still don't agree with it. Giving public money to private.
All right, any
Mr.
more
Chairman?
discussion? Yes.
Yes, I want to echo what the gentleman from United Way said earlier. There are pockets of needs throughout Beaufort County. Not only in my district is 3, Mr. Dawson mentioned his in District 1, but on Hilton Head and Bluffton, there are pockets of needs, and these organizations service those needs in a collective way. And I've been supporting this project, these programs, ever since I got on council. I would go in at budget time, be asking even to increase that amount. So I'm going to vote yes for this.
All right, any other discussion before we do a vote? All right, we're going to do a roll call vote. All right, Ms. Octavia, Ms. Ashley, all right, Ms. Octavia, go ahead, please.
Okay. Committee Member Passament,
Yes.
Councilmember Glover,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeds,
Yes.
And just to be clear, if you haven't called out your conflict, call it out when you make your vote.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Councilmember Brown,
no.
Councilmember McEllen,
You're on mute, Larry.
Yeah, there are a great many fortunate people here in the county and some less fortunate than most. These organizations do very good work for people
We're voting.
And I'm gonna vote yes on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Ex officio Committee Member Howard,
Yes.
Committee Member Tabernick,
No, and I'm recused myself. I'm on the board of Staying Connected.
Committee Member Dawson,
Yes, and I recuse myself with the Media Assist program.
Committee Vice Chair Cunningham,
Yes.
Chair Lawson.
Mark Lawson, yes. Total vote?
It's 8-2, the motion passes.
All right, so then this will move on to County Council for approval. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Reeds didn't vote.
Who's missing?
Oh,
he
yes,
voted
he did.
yes.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Oh, Bartholomew's absent, yes.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't
You're right.
hear him.
You scared me.
Yes.
You scared me, Joe. All right, let's move on then to our next item, item F, and this is a resolution approving the Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation to use $600,000 of county and site jobs funds for the purchase of land on St. Helena Island for the development of a Gallagher Cultural Center and Entrepreneurial Market. Fiscal impact $600,000. Balance in the Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation Fund is $3 million plus. And we have our executive director from Beaufort County Economic Development, Mr. John O'Toole, will be up here. But Hank, you're going to set this up. I need a motion first.
Motion? A motion?
Yeah, in a second, please.
I'll second. Who motioned it?
Ms. Brown.
Oh, okay.
So, Mr. Glover is the second. Let's go ahead, Hank, if you could go ahead and lead us in.
I'm just going to introduce John and to tell you the reason it's before you today is because of the new policy that we established where site and job fund usage has to be approved by council, which therefore has to come through committee. And John will explain what his board has voted on, but as the policy states, it has to come to you for approval of those uses.
Mr. O'Toole, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Council members, it's a pleasure to be with you. I believe I have a PowerPoint, and I'm going to be pretty calm with the clicker here, based on my experience last Monday. Just as that's coming up, I did want to let you know, last week when I was before you, I had indicated that we had applied for a grant to defray the use of the site and job fund for that pad site. We were looking for $100,000. We received a grant for $75,000. So that will defray the county's cost on the development of the pad. As I begin, I want to just remind the council that this question of a performance center was sent to us to vet. And that's what we have done. So we're bringing our best information back to you. Heard some pretty good feedback. Those who spoke for and those who spoke against bring up good points that I hope to address in my overview today. We had 7 meetings out in the community just in the month of August and September where we listened to the community. And when you, again, I'll refresh on the CPO. If you go to page 27, things that this council said our priorities is celebrating cultural diversity, the assorted geographies throughout Beaufort County, socio-economic diversity, preserving historic character, and listening to the community's voice. And in our approach here, that's what we've attempted to do. As I mention this, and economic development, and you've heard me say it before, I come from a family of 7 kids, and each child has a different need. Well, when you get into the different parts of Beaufort County, how different is St. Helena from Bluffton? How different is Port Royal from Hilton Head, and unincorporated areas from Yemassee even? So there's so much diversity throughout Beaufort County. I'm also reminded as I go into this project, one of the things that I heard was the greatest social program in the world is a job. And that's what we try to do. As you recall from the slides that we showed you at last Monday's meeting, in the last 5 years, income has risen 53% on the jobs that we've been attached to. So we're proud of that. I heard a gentleman say, and I respect that, run government like a business. Well, I was a mayor of a small town in my 30s, and I ran government like a business. And what I learned from that time was that it's good to run it like a business, but it's even better at the end of the day when we belong to a community and people work together and respect each other. But I will say this, as you hear me speak today, if you want me to run economic development for Beaufort County like a business, I will. And I tell you this, that when Mr. Trask stood up here and said he had another developer who would pay more for this property, I am, myself and my staff are in contact with 2 developers. The offer we have before even beginning negotiations is if we bought this property and we preserved it and we build out the plan. I will concede, as the gentleman pointed out, that the plan isn't entirely vetted. But if you want to run it like a business, if we bought it tomorrow, we have somebody who would buy it the next day for $250,000 more. We don't want to be a hedge fund, but we do, when you think of the projects, and I've seen them come before you. I laid in bed watching one of your meetings till 2 in the morning.
Okay.
That if you control property, you own the property, then you can actually design the project that you like to see on the property, and you can get what you want, and you might get to sleep before midnight. When you look at economic development, and we always talk about the balance wheel, and a lot of people, I've been working in economic development for better than 25 years. It involves taking care of the businesses you have. It involves community development. It involves entrepreneurship and helping small businesses, industrial development, and real estate development. And so it's interesting that people call this a performing arts center that we've been asked to look at. When we looked at it, and this project was handed to us in May of '24, and as I was sitting back there, I think about, you have been, this council, this county has been funding site funds for us for 8 years to buy properties so that you can do economic development projects on. Just in '24, you approved $3.5 million a year, a 5-year commitment, which fell off this fiscal year. But you sent it to us and said, hey, look at the Performing Arts Center. What I will tell you is it is not a performing arts center. It's a cultural center wrapped by an entrepreneurial market that would celebrate the Gullah Geechee community. Is that what it is going to be in the end? No, but we'll have good bones for an economic development project. And as Mr. Terrell said, that we can continue this conversation so we get something that is of value. But if the council sent it to us to look at it and to see what would make sense, I've never gotten the memo to say, kill it, this is not a good idea. So we have followed through as best we can. And with that said, we'll respect whatever the judgment of the council is. But we approach this job in earnest and with all sincerity. When you look at it, it's a 10.25 acre site, you know, and I believe Mr. Glover points out frequently, location, location, location. And when you think about that, we had community meetings, and the last one we had a lot of residents from Datoa attend that meeting, and they're concerned about traffic. Obviously, all the considerations of traffic and good planning have to come to effect for this project to move forward. When you look at the budget, do we have an answer today on how to acquire the property and control it? Senator Chip Campson spoke from the floor of the Senate and convinced his colleagues to earmark or give us a grant for $1 million. So you gave us a project, and we're $1 million closer to achieving what you gave us as a project. If the county council decides it doesn't want to pursue this, we can return these funds, or we can work on projects, as Mr. Terrell said. But if we can return it quite easily to the state, and there's no harm, no foul. It's just, it wasn't a priority of Beaufort County. But when you look at it, we have an appraisal that says it's worth $1.7 million, and we're getting it below value. We know we have developers in the wings that'll pay us more, and we haven't even begun negotiations, but we know we'd come out $250,000 higher. You could get a good development out there in 2026 easily. We have been approached by very high-profile philanthropists that are excited about this. So when you see the numbers to develop, don't be too concerned. But to the gentleman's point, are they sketches? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. Do we have a resident who grew up on St. Helena, who raised millions of dollars for the African American Museum in Charleston, who believes that to raise these funds would be a very easy task for this project? And for people who say, well, this is just an idea, it doesn't make sense. You can go to Ma Daisy's in Bluffton and see that that there's commerce built around cultural heritage there. When you look at where we've been, this idea didn't just hatch overnight. As a matter of fact, 9 administrators have presided over this since it began in 2017. And you can see the history there, but we are just following it up to see what the council would like to do with it. In those meetings, really great feedback, but what people on St. Helena want to see is something other than a pie-in-the-sky promise. They'd like to see something happen. They'd like to see a business model. They'd like to see county buy-in. They'd like to see measurable results. And what excites them about it is elevating and preserving St. Helena's cultural heritage. I know you've received bombastic emails saying that the recent travesty that occurred on St. Helena is what it's about, and it's not. When you meet the people out there, there's good people, there's a great history, and a real tangible piece of Americana that more people visiting our area should know about, and people out there are very excited about it. We have a sketch of it in your folder. This is just a sketch. But you can see that there would be retail space around the edge, creating kind of a village feel. And as you drive down Boundary Street here in the city of Beaufort, you realize what streetscapes and coordinated architectural features can really transform a corridor. We believe, and again, getting back to some of the comments of Mr. Terrell, lighting, sidewalks, tying the whole Corners community together could begin with a project like this and the other projects that are underway. Syrah Greens project, Syrah Reynolds Greens project behind Gullah Grub and the other parts of the Corners community. So there's a lot of excitement out there. People look at the spaces, they could be subdivided, and this can be built out over time. One of the pieces of conversation we had recently is, where can people gather? You really can't close the street out there. So as this is being developed, this could be a meeting place over the years. And so with that, we only suggest this. A council could decide to go to a different direction, but would be to secure the property, spend 24 months to see if it can gain traction and bones around it in terms of the planning. And then if that wasn't the case, the county could have it designed, the Economic Development Corp could have it designed and put it out to bid as component parts for the private sector to invest in. So the way I look at it, there are three things you can do. One, you could have no dream for this piece of property and for that area. You could pursue this and it could take off, or you could pursue this and divest yourself of it in 2 to 3 years. So I appreciate your time. I hope I gave you a little bit of a background on why we pursued it, but just remember, you sent it to us. This is our best answer, and I appreciate your time.
All right, Mr. O'Toole, thank you. Any questions for Mr. O'Toole? Mr. Glover, and then...
Not a question. I just want to add to Mr. O'Toole's presentation, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to give a brief history. I think Mr. O'Toole did a great job of the history of this project and the conception, the idea, and bringing it forward to where it is today. It's a 8 years discussion timetable that went into this, but I would say this, that when I came on council, I was on council maybe 10 months before Mr. O'Toole got hired, and Mr. O'Toole visited my community, and we talked about how do we bring economic development to a rural community. And Mr. O'Toole said he would go home and he would pull out all his hair to make this happen. And
He did that.
And so he has worked with my community over the years. He's brought in support for the farmers market that's there, and he's also been very supportive of this concept here. And when you look at rural South Carolina, you look at rural Beaufort, and you look at my community with the comp plan, we're looking at trying to preserve a community, preserve a culture, but also we want to grow. So how do we do that? And in a rural community, agriculture is part of that equation. We have something unique on St. Helena. We're probably the last large area of African American that's centered in a community. We actually call that the heart of the Gullah community on St. Helena. How do we preserve that? And one of the things that we wanted to do was we wanted to tell a story of a people, of a culture. And that's where the Performing Arts Center, that's where the Cultural Event Center. But I took that to my community 3 years ago or 2 years ago, and they said, no, we don't want that. We want an event center. We wanted to have different kinds of event at this center. And so John came back to me and said, York, you cannot be fighting your community. And we can try to work both of this. And what came out of that through the consultant was, you really want a black box concept of a theater, something that's very versatile, something that you can, within 24 hours, you can change from a performance to a dinner theater opportunity. And so that's where we came in with the black box theater, but that's to attract tourism. One of the key things is, where can we make money economically on tourists? That's one of the things. The other part of this is looking at our food culture, when I see the city of New York, the city of Detroit, selling and making money on what we call our dish, shrimp and grits, shrimp or fish and grits. They are making money on that. We do not have a good place to have that kind of food court to allow for the various dishes, the cultural dish that people can experience. This will give it that opportunity. To go beyond that, there is the opportunity for us to look at how do we bring in other connection to Africa, to St. Helena. There's an opportunity to do that, and all of this is what we want to plan. So what we're asking council to do is to, the normal way of doing things, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to be quiet in a few minutes. The normal way of doing things is have a business plan come forward. We are not in a position to do that, but we believe that if we are assured that the property is there, we will come back with a business plan. We will come back with the funding that is necessary to move this forward. But we want to secure the land. And Mr. Trask is here because he's one of the principal partners in this land acquisition. But he is not the main partner. The main partner is another person. When we met with him, John O'Toole and I, he said, I am glad to do this because it will benefit the community. And that's what we're going forward with, an opportunity for something to be for the community as an investment. And all we're asking council to do is invest in us. I'll stop right there.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Mr.
Oh,
Chair?
yeah, I'm sorry, Joe. Yeah, Joe's
Yes.
next, and Paul and you after that.
John, the purchase price is $1,595,000, correct?
Yes.
$1 million of which has been secured
Yes.
now?
Yes.
So it really is $595,000 that we're looking for, not $600,000.
Well.
Yeah, shy of 5,000, yeah.
Right, okay. Should we purchase this, and what Mr. Glover is saying is we secure the land, now we're gonna come up with a plan how to use that on the basis of the $1 million that we've gotten. Because Parks and Recreation said they were willing to fund this based upon the idea of what was going to go there.
Correct.
So if we don't follow through with that, we're gonna be out $1 million. Because you said we could sell it to another developer and for another $250,000. But we'd have to give that $1 million back.
Correct.
We would then have to come up with $1 million.
No.
No?
When you sell it, the buyer gives you the $1 million.
Right, but we would have to return $1 million to Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, but the buyer I have in the wings will pay $1.885 million, $1,850,000.
Okay, all right.
So if we, down the road, decide this was foolhardy, it didn't make sense, we sell it at market rate, and we can do that pretty quickly. And we also have another developer in the wings who, when they read about the idea of a cultural center on St. Helena, they wanted to do the project. I'm not sure that they would be the right person for the project, but we would have that opportunity. But today we know we could get $1.85 million for the property. And if we didn't do what the state expected, we would return $1 million to the state and $850 to the county's site fund.
Okay.
Question, Chairman?
Right after Ms. Brown goes.
Oh, no, Larry,
All right,
go.
Mr. McKellen, go ahead.
Yeah, prospective buyers notwithstanding, and if the creeks don't rise, with regard to this project, our contribution doesn't match what the state is providing because you're asking for less. But what will the overall cost of this project be in the out years? And what will happen if you fail to raise the money
with regard to the construction of what should be a rather impressive building or number of buildings on St. Helena. How long do you think it will actually take? And what if you only raise half the money and you can't do what you expect to do with regard to fulfilling the promise of a cultural center?
Economic development, let's just take 302 Parker Drive, right? A company decides that they're going to buy this 83,000 square foot building. This happened 4 years ago. And their business model didn't work. So now the building is empty. And now we've got an aerospace company looking at occupying it. That is the nature of economic development. If we can raise funds, Mr. McClellan, and have something built, then we have an asset, right? An asset that we're collecting taxes on and an asset that can be refilled. We're doing the same things on Hilton Head, and let's use Boundary Street as an example. You do the streetscapes and then you see it precipitates other investments along that corridor. I believe that similarly, if some investments are made in the Corners community, because there are a lot of services that and needs of residents out there that aren't being met today, that the market will fill that in. But if we don't raise all the funds, you can do components of the plan in stages, and I think Mr. Trask mentioned that. But we're optimistic. Again, we have a Grammy Award winner, a philanthropist who identified this project, has indicated it's going to be in their 2026 work plan. And in particular, this artist is really focused on opportunities for women entrepreneurs. So we didn't even put it out there. This was came to us via LinkedIn, and we think there are other great foundations out there that we can reach out to.
So my question really, which I haven't answered, is where will you expect to get this money? And how will the cultural center become an economic driver in that community when it's eventually built, considering the inflationary pressures we're all facing? Is the $14 million that you're expecting to raise a reasonable number?
The gentleman who raised all of the funds for the African American Museum in Charleston believes that $14 million would be an easy lift, but time will tell. And I do think that the cultural center would need to continue to be supported by philanthropists over time.
So once this is built, then who will be responsible for maintaining it and paying the bills there? Who's going to manage all this? Will this become a county issue, or will it be a private sector issue?
In our sketch, we plan for it to be operated by its own 501c3. It could easily work with the Penn Center, or the Black Chamber of Commerce might be a logical partner on the project.
I would think that all of the money to operate this on an annual basis will come from donations to a 501c3?
To operate, no. Most of the revenue over time will actually come from the retail outlets.
Okay, thank you.
But that's all in conceptual right now, and that's where the business plan will actually come in to actually say exactly how this would work.
All right, Larry, you completed with your question?
Yes, I have. Thank you very much.
Good. Ms. Brown, I think you were next.
Okay, hey, John, it's good
Hi.
to see you.
Hi, Councilmember.
Let's go back all the way to May 2024. Who from the county gave you this project?
I believe conversations with Hank Edmondson, if I'm correct.
Okay,
That's
so
fair?
you say it came to you in May 2024, but
Let
council
me Phil
didn't.
answer his question real quick. I'm not sure if it's May, but I know that there was a natural resource committee that reviewed the plan that came back from a feasibility study from Johnson Consulting, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
And there wasn't sufficient in the group made a motion and voted, originally was to give a letter of support for the corporation to do it, but the motion was made to not issue a letter of support, but to send it to the
I have it
corporation
right
for
here.
further. But that letter never was signed because the motion was made in the meeting that said, we're going to send this to the corporation for further vetting and not issue a letter of support.
Okay, because it's dated June 27th, 2024.
Right, I don't know the month, I just
And
know
Michael Moore's name's on here, but it's not signed.
it wasn't signed because council moved to not do that.
Well, yeah, Michael didn't come
Right.
on board until July 1st.
Right, and- Well, that actual meeting, I don't think it was May. I think it was September because
Yeah,
it waited,
I'm gonna get
Mr.
to
Moore
that.
was here. Yeah.
I'm going to get to that. Okay. So September 9th, 2024, council heard the entire presentation by Johnson Associates. And they clearly said, it was on page 10, if my memory serves me right, it would be a $250,000 loss for the next 10 years. And I asked at that time, how were we going to come up with $250,000 a year? And they said you would go out to foundations and raise the money,
I would.
right? Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Not
But,
you, no, that
Oh, okay.
we, whatever. I'm sorry, I didn't mean you. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I apologize for that. That it would cost a $250,000 loss for 10 years. As Mrs. Lamarca pointed out earlier, the art center that's on Hilton Head, which I'm sure you're familiar with, and Larry and Tom, takes a lot of money to sustain, and the land was donated. This you're asking the county to purchase, to put up $600,000. And also I want to point out, this on page 136 of the agenda packet, the real estate valuation and counseling, it says partial 050A appraised in 2022 of $288,600. The next year, it appraised for $1,134,000. How did that go up four times? More than four times.
If I could, you've raised 2 points. So the first one was that this is a performing arts center. It's not. It really creates a village in the Corners community and creates entrepreneurial space. As far as the appraisals, I have an appraisal here from A.R. Martin saying that it's worth $1.7 million. Who is your appraisal from?
It's A.R. Martin Company, it's page 136. It says comment on assessor value, 2022, $288,600. And then in the next year, appraised for almost over $1 million?
The appraisal I have here has 51 pages, so I'm not sure.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know, can we bring this up? I don't know.
Are you referring
Page
to the page number of
136
our
and this.
AIS?
Packet,
It's
yeah.
actually in the
That's from our
packet.
packet.
It's in the packet.
136.
You said 201,000?
Yeah, right here, see? This.
That's per acre?
Well, okay, so how did it go from here to here?
Appraisers are pretty
Am I not
good,
reading this
usually in the first few pages of the appraisal, telling you what the entire parcel you're looking at is worth. And so if you go to the third, we'll call it the fourth page, if you have the title page, indicates that it's 164,000 per acre, rounded to $1.7 million.
Okay, but
You're right, it does.
am I wrong in reading that, Mark? 'Cause
No, you're correct. And they
Okay.
spell that out saying as appraisers that it was considerably less for
Partial.
2022.
I don't know how
And
that
because
happened.
of, again, we know because of values and COVID and things like that that happened that in
Oh.
2023, property values went through the roof. So and they're addressing that in here. They spell that out.
Okay, so Johnson Associates that did the study, they did it for a performing arts center, but we changed that to a culture center with retail stores, that sort of like a development that's going up in Bluffton on Buckwalter Parkway, something like that?
It
With retail
it
stores,
reminds me of a
Starbucks,
development I see
that kind of
on,
thing?
on 17 in Pawleys Island, the porch area where you have
Oh, I wouldn't
shops.
know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know about that, okay. And then I attended a Beaufort County EDC meeting, and we voted on, everyone voted on this, and I voted no, along with someone else in the meeting, voted no. Because I asked someone that was in the meeting at the time, who was in the mortgage business, would he loan money to any land, any real estate development or real estate period that did not have the comps? And his answer was no. So he wouldn't have loaned money for this, but he voted, yeah, that this is a good idea. I agree this is a great idea. I do. I just feel that we should not be using public money to fund it. And according to the comps that I just received today from someone out there,
Who would that be?
I don't like to mention names, but I'm happy to hand you this. The average for sale right now is $58,000 an acre. The average sold price is $48,000 an acre. At the 1500 block, coming from the city, I use blocks. 4 acres sold for $300,000. I just think we're paying way too much. And after this appraisal, I mean, this page, October 29th, 2024. Of course, this was a year ago. Do you agree with me, Mr. Chair? I just feel it's a great idea. We shouldn't be using public money, especially
One
at
way
this
you
cost,
might be able
at
to
this
get
price.
around that, though, is if you
What?
said we were getting 10 acres, but your net cost was 600,000, then you could say it's only costing you 60,000 an acre.
What? Oh, okay, now you're going to confuse me, right?
No.
Okay. All right, so the study that was done in September 2024, it said $250,000 of loss. Really doesn't apply what we're talking about now.
It's not apples to apples.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That was my question. So, again, the comps don't support this 1.6 million. I think it's worth maybe 700,000 at best. I mean, after looking at this. Do you not agree with
The
me?
mortgage banker that you referenced, though, voted in favor of the purchase.
But how do we get from this figure to this figure?
That's a different topic, but that's what it's being appraised for today. You add those two up, two parcels.
but
and that's your professional
I think it's hard,
appraiser
yeah.
has given you that number.
But did he use the comps? I'd like to see the comps he used.
If you want, we could get
Yeah.
another appraisal, if that
No,
would
no,
help
I
you.
don't want
If
appraisal.
on
I wanna see
principle,
the
you're
comps
just not
he
in favor
used
of it.
to come up with this
Yeah.
appraisal. That's all I'm asking.
Mhm.
That's all I'm asking for. I want the comps that he used to come up with this
They're,
appraisal.
they're throughout this document. You
They are?
may not agree with them, but their thought process is throughout the appraisal. But if you wanted to see another appraisal, we could get that for you.
No, I don't want another,
Okay.
spend money for another appraisal.
No problem.
Move on. Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I think Mr. Cunningham, Ms.
Oh, I'd
Taberner,
let her- Tab go first.
and then anyone else that's online that hasn't got a chance to speak yet, we'll then go to them. Because again, this is a very important topic, and everyone
Yeah.
has their.
Anybody online want to speak before I do? Go ahead.
If I might ask?
Yes, Mr. Dawson, go ahead. Why don't you go first?
John, of the 10 acres, how much of it is usable for this project?
There, in our desktop, there looks like about a third of it that might be used for water retention, because it's built for that, or not built for development, or.
Okay.
All right, now let's go ahead then to Ms. Taberner.
So, my biggest concern is there are no details flushed out, and I said this at the Economic Development Committee. It's all speculation. I'm not interested in investing $600,000 of public money for something I don't know that's going to come to fruition. And I'll say it again, at every council meeting, we have someone that stands up and says, St. Helena needs a recreation center. We have nothing for our youth to do out there. I'd rather funnel money into a recreation center. This has no bones on it, as you said in the first meeting with the community where I went to. There's no details, no specific. And I'm wondering if Chip Campson would say, okay, if you're not going to do this, we'll give you the $1 million for a rec center out there. Doesn't hurt to ask, but I believe they need a rec center, so I will be voting no on this project.
All right, Mr. Cunningham?
I feel for you right now, I really do. Because you led with saying that I was tasked with this. You never said this is something you brought forward, this was your idea, anything like that. So I appreciate you putting the time and effort onto this, genuinely, because that's not an easy thing to do. And I will tell you, your poker face is great because you have yet to decide or express if you're like yes or no. You said either way, we're comfortable with it. So, meaning you were given a task by our staff to bring this forward and you did your job honestly and upfront, so I do appreciate that. I won't beat you up like the rest of them did. I am going to address a couple of things that were said by council members and by you as well. We usually don't spend money without having a plan, but we've had an option on St. Helena for 2 years now that somebody brought a plan, was offering to pay for all of it, was offering to put $17 million back in the community, and we were told that we don't want a landowner to dictate what we do. But yet we have council members quoting a landowner saying that this is a good idea and we should support that landowner because they want to do something. Those contradict, they don't go together at all. So I've always said to people, I'm going to stand where my beliefs are. I have no problem with, developing and giving back in St. Helena or anywhere else across this community. But with that has to come other caveats and other movements with it. And it seems time and time again, we want to just pick and choose, but you're either all in or you're all out. The quote was that Baltimore, Detroit, and New York sell their food and make money off their food. Well, the growth in Baltimore, Detroit, and New York isn't the growth that anybody wants in St. Helena. So there is that give and take. They have a business plan in place. They have a model. They make a ton of money off it, but city life is not what's wanted in St. Helena. At least that's what we've been told. There are other options out there. One of the things said was Penn Center could maybe be the one managing this property. Well, Penn Center has the option to do this exact business model right now. And I don't see that being done. I'll be honest, it just has bad written all over it, me personally. It's not that you didn't do a good job, it's not like you didn't advocate for it or do the research, but I just don't see how this serves the purpose of the ultimate goal in St. Helena. If we're looking to put markets out there to sell what's ever being produced or grown or anything other, that's great. We do the same thing in Bluffton. It's called a farmer's market, and it doesn't cost us a dime to do. We actually make money off it, and it's self-sufficient. I guess my biggest question is, are we going to spend taxpayer dollars to build basically a business plan so other people can start their own business on the taxpayers of all of Beaufort County? And I just don't see how we can do that, especially when we just turned down a plan to preserve 500 acres and get everything that we're talking about right here for free. Mm-hmm. To me, it's almost irresponsible, me personally. I won't support this. I'd rather use these funds for another location in St. Helena where it's already there. We have a plan. We can actually have something tangible with it and not a hope and a prayer if somebody comes through with fundraising. I want to reiterate it again because I know you and I have gone back and forth about other projects across the county for over a year now. I think you did a fantastic job bringing this forward. You brought conceptual plans. You were tasked with something from our staff, which I appreciate them advocating for, and you doing the legwork. I just don't see how we spend $600,000 doing this. My question too was one of that Mr. McKellen put out earlier. If we have this on an agenda and the resolution says that it's going for a Gullah Geechee Culture Center and an entrepreneurial market, which I don't believe we should be funding either of those this way, but does that mean we're on the hook to build them? And if we don't, are we responsible for giving that $1 million back? Whether we sell the property or not, what's the caveat of that $1 million? It doesn't just come for free. Buy the land, the county can say, cool, we own it, we're never gonna do anything with it. So I guess that's a big question. It seems to me that's what Mr. McKellen was leaning towards when he was asking this question. full circle with this, I don't think it's our job to spend taxpayer dollars on that land just to build a business park. Now, with that said, if this was to be amended and somebody say, okay, it's amended, let's go buy this property, and the state tells us we can buy this property and resell it for the 1.8 or 1.9 million and pocket an extra 200,000 to put towards St. Helena and put towards other center needs and stuff in St. Helena, you're right, I'll run it like a business. Why not? We'd be silly not to. So if you tell me we can take our 600,000 we already have and get another 250 out of it for the people in St. Helena, I'd buy this property and sell it tomorrow.
All right, and let me, this is a resolution, so whatever happens with the vote here, it goes to then county council for a vote. So again, this is just us pushing it towards county council with a yes or a no. And my feeling on this is obviously, you know, St. Helena has said in the past that they don't want huge development out there. We know that. However, this is something that can be done that would create some economic development for that area. And Mr. O'Toole, you and I, when I first came on, we've butted heads many, many times, and you have won me over the years. And again, we've seen the appraisals. We know that we can get into this property, $600,000 for a $1.6 million property. And again, we're purchasing it to look at trying to do some type of economic development in St. Helena. So I will vote yes for it to move it forward. And then obviously if things can't work out, well, then we have to look at selling it or look at doing something else. Do I want to have us run a self-family art center? No, I don't want that. And I even had said that, I think jokingly one time to Mr. Glover, where we talked about that. And I said, listen, Hilton Head has one that'd give you tomorrow if they could. So you have to realize that that's something that we don't want to be in this to run it. However, economic development wise, there are some things we can do out there and create some of the stuff we're talking about with the Gullah Geechee. So we're going to do a roll call vote on this and see where we come out. So Ms. Octavia, if we can do roll call vote, please.
And just to be clear, if you vote for it, that means you're recommending approval of the resolution.
Can we get that one question answered before the roll call? If that wording is in the title, are we obligated to fulfill that, or we have to pay the $1 million back? That would be mine.
So.
You're saying no from the crowd, but nobody's giving us an answer. I understand we can sell it and give them the $1 million back. I'm saying if we do not sell it and we do not develop it, are we obligated to give the $1 million back to the state?
I think if you start playing that game, you jeopardize getting grants in the future if they don't trust your purpose for a plan.
Exactly.
Which is my entire issue with this.
But
we can't fulfill this.
Mr. Cunningham, let me just express this. I talked to the senator on several occasions and several times, and he was adamant about it being used for the cultural center. He connects that cultural center opportunity with the African American Museum in Charleston that he basically said, I helped fundraise that through the legislation. So I think the cultural center is a key link to this project.
Yeah, I apologize. I did have some notes, but then the conversation moved on. Section 2 of the grant agreement says, project description, purchase of property on St. Helena for Marketplace and Performing Arts Center. So we feel obligated to live up to this. I feel obligated as a human being to keep my word. And so we are going to live within that. Now, to Vice Chair Tabernak's point, if there is an opportunity, if this doesn't go forward, and there is an opportunity to speak to the senator, but probably more important, the the grantor, South Carolina Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism, it wouldn't be our thought to be spiteful and just kick the $1 million back to the state, but to see if it couldn't be used for some purpose for the benefit of the community. So, and last thing, I don't mean to be a poker face. I have worked really hard on this, and I have prayed on this, and I think this is a really good project. Thank you.
I have just one more
All right,
thing.
last comment, and then we're going to vote.
John, am I right in saying that this $1 million expires 11/25/25?
No,
I
we
saw
just,
something-
we have just been updating them quarterly. We were supposed to be complete by now, but as long as we provide quarterly updates, they've been very patient with
You'll
them.
make that 11/25 because today's the 17th, is that
What's
right?
that?
You'll make the deadline for 11/25?
Well, if county stays on track to go through its approval process, we
But
have
this
to, we have to close on the property by the middle of December.
Oh, okay.
That may
All right.
be one deadline, but the grant money just continues as long
Right,
as we've
yeah,
been
that I
providing them
understand. I think for
updates.
3 years, is that right?
I think
Continues for 3 years?
we're kind of beyond what they
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't have
originally thought, but we're working with the state. We're not at opposition with the state.
Right, yeah, exactly. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go ahead with the vote, please.
Okay. Councilmember Brown,
No.
Councilmember Glover,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeds,
No.
Councilmember McEllen,
With the money provided as seed money and with our money buying land, I'm not worried about us getting our money's worth as time passes, even if this project does not get the private funding it's seeking, so I vote yes.
ex officio committee member Howard,
No.
committee member Tabernick,
No.
committee member Passamit,
Yes.
committee member Dawson,
Yes.
committee vice chair Cunningham,
No.
committee chair Lawson.
Mark Lawson, yes.
It's a tie.
Yes, it is a tie.
So it fails.
It fails?
The
Yes.
motion fails.
Fails with a tie. Because the motion was for approval, we'll go forward recommending disapproval.
Yep.
All right,
Now, the failure means that it goes to council.
Yeah, it still goes to council.
Okay,
It won't be recommended by the committee.
right.
all right, so let's move on then to our agenda item G. This is appointment of council member Anna Tabernick to the Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation Board to fill the county council seat. And can I have a motion for this,
A
please?
motion?
And is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, I thought we weren't getting a second there.
It's okay with me.
Sorry. All right, is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, we will approve this without objection. And I see no objection from anyone online or here in the chambers, so that has been approved. And then our last thing is a discussion, and again, we'll try to keep this as short as we can. Discussion of potential funding sources for USCB Convocation Arena. And again, Ms. Harriet, I know that we talked about this at our workshop here just last Friday.
Right.
And we said we'd at least give you some direction here today, so
Right.
go ahead if you'd like to just kind of enlighten us on what direction we need to go or what we can do to help you.
I believe you wanted to have this brought to Finance Committee immediately so that we could meet a deadline that the university has kind of put out there for their A&E design. So we had decided to bring it to Finance Committee to get direction from council if you would like us to seek funding opportunities for their request of $47 million for the Convocation Center and Sports Park.
Anyone like to open up discussion? So again, what we talked about was $47 million. Is the request from
That is their
the
new
university?
revised request, yes.
And again, they are getting matching funds from
They have $47 million already from the state
from the
legislature.
state of South Carolina, and they're again looking at doing their first phase, which they expect to be $100 million to do.
$94 million total, I
phase-
believe.
Phase one. So, as I said at the meeting on Friday, our complete general budget is less than $200 million. So this is 1/4 of our budget amount. So coming with that amount of money is almost impossible. So I guess what we need to talk about is what amount, if any, we'd like to, and if we did want to, where would that money come from to make it happen? So any recommendations or suggestions from our committee here?
I believe our charge would be to direct administration come up with the funding sources that would be possible to be
Options.
utilized, the options that could be utilized. The $47 million is not going to be done in 1 year. It is going to be done over a period of time. And it would be your job to tell us the funding source, how much we would be expected to expend on an annual basis for a period of time for us to digest and determine what number would be best for the county.
Correct. A part of that is how much does the county want to contribute to this entire project?
Right.
So that is, your discussion to have, of whether you want to do 10 million, 20 million, 47, however.
Yes, Mr. Gunningham, go ahead.
Nobody else wants to go first? I mean, y'all have been up front. This is my alumni, and still, I'm a hard sell on this. They originally asked for, I believe, 100 million, then dropped it to 80 million. And now it's
Originally 120.
120, then to 80. When we had
Then
that
it was
workshop.
80 million was supposed to come from the proposed MCIP.
And then now the 47 million.
Correct, because they received 47 from the state.
Yeah, I do not, straight up, I don't believe we should be funding $47 million for this. We have it in our general fund, but that would be irresponsible spending all those funds from our general fund on that. There's so much more that we could do in this area, whether it is for workforce housing or economic development or whatever it might be, that we should be using that money for. Now, I do think USCB is a huge asset to the county. I do believe growing local talent and keeping them here is a big part of our job. Yes, we know we can make taxpayer money off of the arena if it's done right with the 3,500 seats and doing events and all that stuff, but a lot of the selling points on that, honestly, I think they're just trying to fill a paper. They say it alleviates traffic and safer for people to get to the ball field. We also adding traffic onto our road and making it unsafe for other people that have to drive to it. So it's counterproductive. The other part, the shelters for hurricanes and disasters, I get that. We need to have places. The National Guard and the police station have used my establishment for the last two, so I get the need. With that said, how much return are we actually getting and how much help are we getting from outside counties that are also going to benefit from this? And the last I heard is none. So unless that's changed in the last week, the only players are the state and Beaufort County.
Correct.
And we're all gonna benefit of this. I don't have a problem looking at 15, 20 million and see if that's something that could jumpstart them. I fully believe that they have other sources. They have other ways to raise money. There's no way they'd be as successful as they have been without that. But I also understand them taking the position they are because, they're trying to get as much as possible. They wouldn't be going for phase one if they didn't believe they could fund phase two. And we better believe they're probably coming to us for phase two and their donors as well. So that's just me personally. I mean, my cap would probably be about that 20 million range, and I'm not even 100% yes on that. But I guess I would want staff to look at how would we be able to fund that without raising the millage, without hurting our public school district already, and is there a way to even make that happen and what that time frame would look like? That's just my sense, but I'm one of 11, so.
All right, Ms. Tabernick, go ahead.
So, I'm a 37-year educator, so I'm all for education. However, with this project, we met with the school district. They were a firm no on the MCIP.
Correct.
They're very concerned of what our decision might make. They have made it perfectly clear to Dr. Panu and the college, they will not use the facility for graduation, so that's off the table. I also have a concern I raised last week. Port Wentworth is opening up a $46 million center, and they're building it for $46 million, opening next year rather. So there's no way this is going to come in at this budget amount. Colonel Geyer told me what it costs just to put one field at one school. So this budget amount is probably not even realistic. I do not want to fund it at all at this time. We have over $100 million, I believe, in capital projects. We have all kinds of things to fund for our residents. If we were to give money to USCB, I think the residents would say, why are you asking for money for transportation when you gave it to a college? I'm very concerned about that, so at this time, it's not a go for me.
All right.
Ms. Howard? You're on mute.
I want to see our capital improvements list reduced. And there's so many items on there that we cannot do at this point in time. Because, and I think that should be our priority if we were gonna spend more money. It's something that, some of these have been on the list for many, many years. And we also need to reduce our bonds, like our CFO has recommended, retire some of our existing bonds. So I will not be voting.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Glover.
Yes, I want to piggyback on Mr. Passman. Recommendation that we task the staff to come back with some kind of plan to see how we could fund this. So I'm not going to say no to this because I see it as an investment in this community. And even though I'm north of the Broad and that's going to be south of the Broad, I still see it as an investment in this entire community. So I'll support Mr. Passman's suggestion.
All right, is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Yeah, I would.
Mr. McKellen, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm very sympathetic to Dr. Panu's plea. They would not have become a four-year college without our support. It seems that the only people really supporting them are the state and the county, and no other counties, even though there are a great many people who are benefiting from that four-year education. I don't believe that I have yet heard the best plan available for them to raise this money, use this money, or what they really need in the out years in addition to this money. But for me, it would have to be an 8 to 10 year plan where we're making a minimum amount of money available. Even with an 8-year plan at $6 million a year, that's a considerable amount. But there are ways to do that. It would be an imaginative way to provide this assistance if we could get an 8 to 10 year plan. But on the other hand, it could result in a millage rate increase, and which I'm not in favor of. But if we're going to retire some bonds, as Alice Howard just said, it might be a way to help them do this, but it's going to have to be over an 8 to 10 year period. And I need a better idea of exactly what the whole project's going to cost and what the benefits would be before I would vote yes.
All right, anybody else? All right, so again, we've heard $20 million, we've heard an 8 to 10 year plan. I think we would have to look at to see what our maximum is each year that we could possibly do, whether it is a plan that is 8 years and it's $20 million, or as Mr. McCullough said, it's 8 years and it's the $5 or $6 million a year to get to that point. But I know that they're looking for it sooner than that. But as I mentioned, for us, we need to keep our funding where it is right now for emergencies, for hurricanes and things like that. And we do have things in our reserve fund, but again, that's why they're there, is for emergencies. So what other things can we get you information-wise, Ms. Harriet? What do you think that you need besides just that vague stuff that we just kind of handed to you?
Well, I've seen a few numbers come out, but their request is 47. Would you like us to see what the options are, or would you like to not move forward with that?
I think we don't want to spend a lot of your time, because you know how time-consuming it is, but we would obviously like to all of us see as many options as you as the expert, along with our staff and Mr. Moore of what can and can't and what the possibilities are. And I can't, because you look at it and say, okay, we could always raise the millage rate just for the school and have a millage rate increase, or we could, instead of doing our transportation, there's a 1 cent sales tax that you see all the time places do until they raise the funds. And all those things that obviously money has to come from someplace, which is our county our county constituents, that it's their money ultimately. So,
if I could just try to help her save time. Yeah. The majority of council, I have the sense, is not going to support a millage increase. So, to keep you from going down all that and running the numbers on it, if the millage is going up, most people are not going to support that at all. So I don't see that passing you. So if that means saving you time from going to look at this much millage would increase this much to give us $5, $6, $7 million a year, whatever it might be, I can tell you I won't support it. So, and I know a majority of council, based off the last couple of meetings, wouldn't either. So hopefully that can save you 12 days of work.
And I also don't support using fund balance for this, and I also don't support going out to bond for this, which is still a tax on the people. So I'm a no.
You're so much fun, Tab.
I know. okay.
All right, any more discussion? Again, this was just a discussion for us to kind of get things rolling. So no more discussion. I think that was our last item on our agenda.
Yep.
And we are officially adjourned.
Oh, great. Thank you.